It was very odd not having Mariam here. So we do have quorum, so I thought we can go ahead and get started. I know that this is our second board meeting since all the new confirmations, and so we have had some folks that weren't at the last meeting, and, we're seeing some new faces. So I just thought, again, we'll be brief for this time, but maybe just going around and doing some introductions, maybe name, pronouns, and just who you're with, whatever that means to you, and just do a quick round of intros so that the new faces can get to know each other, because we know we have some returning commissioners who weren't here last time. So real quick, so Pratik Dash, he, him, his, and I'm with the Turk, the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, and I will go to the right here.
I am Jorge Sayas Diaz. Nice to meet you. I've been an organizer with several orgs, including Workers' Dignity, and I'm currently in law school at Vanderbilt.
Laria Quachi, I work with Johnny and Friends Serving Families with Disabilities.
Marcus Buggs, local entrepreneur.
Yeah, you all are in, definitely.
There we go. Ashley Batchelder, she, her. I'm staff with the commission.
Share your mic. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barbara Gunlarty. She, her, Director of Community Engagement with Metro Human Relations Commission. Welcome.
Charles Trauber, I'm an attorney at Bridgestone.
John Holmes, I'm a local business owner as well.
Ariel Safdie, she, her. I'm with Conexión Americas, and we have the mission of building a welcoming community where Latino families can belong, contribute, and succeed.
I don't know if I can be that thorough.
Yeah.
I am Ben Tran. I teach at Vanderbilt. It's kind of boring.
Hi, everybody. I'm Garlinda Burton. I work for the United Methodist Church in racial justice and other justice issues.
And I am David Tucker. I'm the Executive Director of the Human Relations Commission.
And don't worry, Derek has not drank a youth potion. That's not what's happened here. But if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes. Matthew Garth with Metro Legal.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. So real quick, we just want to do a quick review and approval of the minutes. So if folks want to take a quick glance at the minutes from last meeting, this is the moment where if you see any changes or if your name was spelled wrong or anything like that, go ahead and just name that, and that way we can make those corrections. So I already see one. Yeah, go ahead.
Under public comments, the statement that Erwin Vinnick shared, could we have the statement actually included in the minutes of?
Barbara, we'll add that in? Yes, we can do that. Okay. So we'll make sure that we add that in. Anything else? Just really wanting to recap what was said. I think there were two edits to minutes. One was that we wanted to add Commissioner Vennick's public comments to the actual public comment section of the minutes and make sure that that was noted. And then the other edit was that under old business, there was I think the language was that we talked about an interview, and that the interview would be changed to public comment, because when we did have that meeting that there wasn't quorum, so it wasn't technically an interview. Any other edits on these minutes? All right. Can I get a motion to approve these minutes with the edits that have been named? Can I get a second?
Second.
There it is. All right. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Here's that moment, y'all. Minutes of poo. Awesome. I know. Hey, it's my first time, okay? Okay, I will pass it over to Davey about the financial update.
The financial update.
If you could hit your mic.
The financial update, you'll find it on the green page in your package. It is just beginning this fiscal year. There is one line item that has 966 in the red. Did you get an answer to that?
This is what's happening?
You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to read the text exactly from our Director of Operations. He said that the red item means that money was refunded from a previous expenditure that was either corrected or did not go through. And it typically occurs between budget cycles.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The major budget issue to bring to your attention is at the passage of the last budget, we were afforded 1.5 FTEs, full-time equivalents. We are working with the half equivalent with Metro Finance to see if we can't turn that into a full-time equivalent for an administrative position. So once that is completed, I will make it known to you what the change in the financials will be. All of a sudden, it seemed like my voice went out there for a minute, but it's back now. It's back. Okay, I'm back.
All right. Any questions for Davey on the financials? I'll go auction style, going once, going twice. Okay. Great. Well, we'll move on to the next piece here. So we have new business that we have some executive board elections. So I will pass it over to Davey to add some context.
Per our bylaws, we're required once a year to elect executive officers, which would consist of chair, first vice chair, second vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. The nominating committee at that time was formed, and they submitted the names for the respective positions. Seems like my voice is gone again.
Are you getting them?
Okay, there it is.
Okay.
There it is. Miriam Al-Fazl as chair, first vice chair, Pratik Dash, who is currently second vice chair. Second vice chair, Jorge Salas Diaz. I got it. Treasurer, Ben Tran, and Erwin Vidic. Those were submitted, and we had those, but then in June and July, we had the back and forth over the commissioners. And so here we are now, we're past the year, and we have a duly nominated slate of individuals.
Yeah, maybe what might be a move here is those who were nominated just want to share a few words as to why they would want to, serve on that executive committee. I'm happy to start since, I was on that first vice. Oh, yes.
Just for clarity, Miriam is out for a medical reason, and Erwin is also out tonight.
Okay. So, Miriam and Erwin both out tonight. Good to know. Well, those who are here, maybe if just sharing a few words, I'm happy to go ahead and start. But, I think that this is my second term on the commission, I think. I think that it's really just, I've really enjoyed serving on this commission, and I love this city with all my heart. I tell people that I put the South in South Asian, and I'm really, proud to be a part of this city. I think that, I like to bring a lens of, helping, a lot of my work has been done in helping immigrant and refugee communities, but worked very much in coalition to build power for Black and Brown communities, for working class communities, and for, many communities here in Nashville. been here pretty much all my life, and just excited to make Nashville as welcoming and inclusive as it possibly can be. That is one of my goals and the reason why I wanted to serve on here and why I've been a part of the executive committee. And I have been, I've been serving on the executive committee and trying to make change for this city for a few years now. And, I humbly get to sit next to all of you and continue to do that work. And so I'm just honored to be here. So, I don't know I think Ben, I think second vice chair would be Jorge. Jorge, do you want to share a few words? Sorry to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, no, totally. I am a deep believer of Director Tucker's vision. And I think ever since we started those public safety hearings, I really like the direction that we took. And I want to be here to expand that vision. I also think that myself, as an individual, can contribute to that vision in helping find commonality between different groups. I think in my organizing history in the city, however brief, I've been able to unite and work with different communities, and I would love to continue doing that under the banner of this commission. So I just would love to, get further involved with what we're doing here.
Thanks, Jorge. Ben?
So I finished out my term as commissioner, replacing another commissioner who left, and I was appointed by Mayor Cooper, and I was recently, last month, appointed by Mayor Cooper again. I'm very happy to be back, and I hope to continue to serve on the executive committee as I've been involved in the many initiatives that have taken place over the past year and a half or so. For me, it's pretty simple that if Nashville is going to grow, then all boats need to be lifted together. I believe in the power of the common and the public, and I've dedicated my academic life to thinking about that, the histories that have created inequities, and I teach about these issues that confront our students and our public. In terms of my community activism and engagement, I worked closely in the Edge Hill community and in other communities throughout Nashville for equity. And so I hope to continue to serve on the executive committee.
Great. And then, Davey, is there anything we want to say about Mariam and Erwin, just to, or?
They both are in their second term.
Mike.
They both are in their second term. Miriam assumed the chair when I resigned from the chair. So she assumed the chair then. Erwin has been on the commission since this is his second term also, and he will expire in 2025. Erwin wrote the statement for us. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to
Speak for him, yeah. That's fair.
I don't want to speak, yeah.
Totally fair. Okay, well, I don't see an action needed on the agenda, but I do believe action is needed.
Yes.
In order for this to happen, so.
Yes, a vote is necessary.
So I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna ask for a motion, and then we'll open it up for discussion, and then we'll move it, is that correct, or do we do discussion first, or?
So you can, and I also want to point out that you're also to take nominations from the floor as well. So there can be nominations from the floor.
Okay.
In addition to those that were named by the committee.
Got it, okay.
It might be best, just for smoothness of the process, to kind of take each position, each one, ask if there are nominations from the floor, and then proceed with a vote.
And there is a vacant position of second vice chair.
That's right. Okay, that is very helpful. So I'm thinking of going top down. Does that work for folks? We're going to start with chair and just work our way down if that would work. And so I will go ahead and just say that Is there a motion? We'll start with this. We'll start with this. Is there a nomination for a chair for chair of the Metro Human Relations Commission from the floor? Okay. Can I get a motion to can I get a motion for Mariam Abou-Fazli to be nominated for chair of the Metro Human Relations Commission?
Second.
Oh, you gotta let the first happen first. All right, it feels like there's the motion, there's the second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, so gavel bang number one. All right. Can I get a nomination from the floor of first vice chair? That is me. No hard feelings. Okay. Can I get a motion for Pratik Dash to be nominated for the first vice chair? I will move it. Thank you.
Second.
All right, there's a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Yeah, no hard feelings? Okay, totally fine. Second vice chair, which is currently a vacant seat. The nominating committee has nominated Jorge, but again, full transparency, no hard feelings, we're just honest. So is there a nomination from the floor for a second vice chair? That is the vacant one. Okay. So Charles has been nominated as well. So Matthew, I'm going to go back to you on, we have a nominating committee nominee as well as a second nominee. Where do we go from here?
Start with the first nominee, take a vote, and then if that person has the majority, then that person is the one who takes the position.
Got it.
Then you move to the next nominee.
Got it. Okay, so just so I'm clear about the process here, we're going to make a motion for Jorge first as the nominating committee person. We're gonna do the aye, nay thing. Matthew, if it's indecisive, please stop us so that we can do like individual, whatever we need to do.
I have a question.
And then, yes.
I want to know if this handsome gentleman can share why he would like that role
Yes,
first.
that's a great point. Charles, if you want to go ahead and share a few words, that would be very helpful as well. Thank you so much.
Yep, love to, and thanks for the opportunity for me to share. So honored to be nominated. I'll accept the nomination. I've been in Nashville for almost 20 years now, longer than my hometown of Chattanooga. So Nashville is definitely my home now. I feel like a Nashvilleian. I've done a lot of work in the community, worked with various organizations and youth. Also done a lot of things in the corporate community. Learned a lot about this organization once the mayor's office reached out to me and asked me to join. I know I have a lot more to learn about the organization, but I'm committed to learn, committed to be a sponge and absorb everything there is to know, to follow under the leadership of you, Pratik, and also Miriam, and just thankful to be here and also thankful for the nomination.
Thanks, Charles, and thank you for opening that space. It's very kind of you. Is there?
It's just a, what is it, point of parliamentary procedure, but like, is there a sort of pro-con like aspect to this, or is it just, say the speech, then go to the vote? I'm just wondering, just because like, it's.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The nominating committee would put forth Jorge. He would be first. There would need to be a motion and a second on Jorge. I will make a count.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then we would move from there.
Oh.
If there is the majority that votes for Jorge, it would make the second part moot. But if not, then we would go to that. That's correct.
So there wouldn't like technically be like deliberations with each nominee, right? Like to discuss.
Like, is there a
the nominee.
discussion?
Yeah, or like, but also if that's not the case, then no worries. Just was wondering.
Well, I think with inside of a motion,
Oh, then
you would get whatever inside of the motion.
You do the discussion in the motion.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's right. The discussion comes in the motion. So there is time for discussion. There's a, hang on, let's go question here first.
I was just curious, what have we already outlined what these responsibilities are? Like, what are we voting on them to do exactly?
Yes, in the file folder that you
Okay.
were given, is what I call the Bible of the commission. Bylaws, policies and procedures, and excerpts from the charter, and a federal guideline modeled after the Department of Justice, Human Relation Commissions. So, inside of, the rules and regulations and the bylaws, you'll see the 5, positions outlined with what their duties are.
Do you want to?
Could I make a brief statement? I was not aware that this was going to be contested, so I just, you know,
That's-
like.
I think that's fair.
I would like to actually make my points here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for a point, should we not move forward with the motion?
Well, why don't we let Jorge go ahead and make his case, and then we can
Okay.
do the motion, Jorge first, then Charles, and then we'll move forward. So why don't you go ahead and go ahead and share your contested statement, and then we can move forward.
So a little bit about myself. I've been a community organizer here for 5 or 6 years. And every big moment that this city has had, I've been there. I really feel in the streets what people are feeling. Like really, like truly, when the courthouse burned down, I was there. I didn't burn it. I was there. When we were outside of the courthouse with several times with mothers who've had their children be victims of state violence in this city, I've been there. So I think for me to be in this committee, what you're getting is someone, number one, who's been on the streets for 6 years nonstop, and who's not afraid of telling off anyone. So if the chief of police gets here, you know I will grill him, because I have grilled Captain Laura when he was here. If the head of Metro Codes comes here and we need to know why his office is racially profiling tenants instead of, you know, like actually trying to keep the city up to code, I will grill him. So that's what I bring to the table. I bring a lot of passion. I also bring a lot of vision as to the power of the commission to subpoena officials, to make them responsible to the people of this city. And that's what I have to offer.
Thank you. I feel like we can go back and forth all day. I'll go ahead and just get one more. Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to just share why I would like to nominate someone from the new committee, which is majority of the members now are new. Do I need to do this? Yes.
If you wouldn't mind repeating that, just so it's
Okay.
on the mic, that'd be helpful. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to discuss why I think that we should have representation from the new commissioners. Because at this point right now, everyone that is on the executive committee has been here before. And when you look back on some of the videos and things, there was always an imbalance of the, not enough, not here, not, those kind of things, and things could not get done. So when you bring in, 10 to 15 new members, we also need to have a voice on the executive committee and someone that understands the legal proceedings in these meetings to help us have a more coherent message when we get before the entire group. So I would think that with his background and his advocacy in the community and the things that he has done and has been fighting on the street, he's equally qualified to serve on the executive committee as a newer commissioner to learn what should take place and what has taken place.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to let this go to a vote. Again, 2 very qualified candidates. We are very, this is I'm sure a tough decision. We're going to go the same order that we did. Oh,
Do we want to vote today, or do we want to wait till the other members who are absent here?
I think it's proper, since the nominating committee, you have a year. That is the normal course of business, and you do have a quorum.
okay. Looks like it's the folks who are here today. So, okay. So I'm going to start with, can I get a motion for Jorge Saez Diaz to be nominated for second vice chair? There's a motion. Can I get a second? Second. There's a second. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Do we need to do a roll call?
Yeah, would you please hold your hand?
Okay,
hand
let's
up?
do, if you want to just raise your hand on if you are voting for Jorge. Let's do it that way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe 5, is that the majority? Because we have 9, or do we have, no, we have 10 here. We have 10. So that motion does not pass. So then let's go to the second, which is, can I get a motion for Charles Trauber to be vice chair? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Okay, can I get a second? Second. There's a second, okay. All right, let's take a vote on this time.
I just have a question. So if we voted before, we don't vote now, or we're voting?
Can you vote again? That's a good question. Matthew, you can vote again if you voted last time, is that correct? Or no?
Because that one, first one was defeated?
Right, I'm not aware of any restriction that says that you can't.
Okay.
That's right. So if you voted last time, you can vote again. So it's not a guarantee, well, I'm not going to say anything to, yeah. So motion and second have happened. If you would raise your hand, if you would like to have Charles Trauber be the second vice chair. Okay, motion passes. There it is. Do we want to, if folks can put their hands up again, just so we can count how many votes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. So that is majority. Second vice chair has been decided. Perfect. Okay. Now we move to, oh wait, hang on. There it is. We will now move to secretary, where the treasurer first, sorry. We'll move to treasurer, where the nominating committee has had Ben Tran be nominated. Who is,
I have treasurer. I have treasurer, and I have Irwin as secretary.
I believe that's right, Ben. Yeah. Okay, treasurer, nominating committee has nominated Ben Tran. I'm going to first ask for, are there any nominations from the floor? I was excited about the money, huh? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion for Ben Tran to be nominated for treasurer? Can I get a second? There's a second. All in favor? Aye. There's one candidate. We can just say it now, yeah. All in favor? Aye, there it is. And any opposed? Great, banging again. All right, and then the last is can I get any nominations from the floor for secretary? Okay, Irwin Bennick has been nominated. Can I get a motion to vote Irwin Bennick in as secretary?
Motion.
There's a motion. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Any opposed? All right. I think that we have gotten through this executive board election process. And then we will now move to the strategic plan section, which I will pass back over to Davey.
Thank you. And part of the reason of doing this is because we have had such a new influx of commissioners, is to go through a strategic plan process. I've spoken with the chair, and she's proposing 3 executive board meetings over a 6-week period where we can gather to finalize the issues that we want to move forward with. The executive board meetings are open to everyone. So We have to make notice of those. We still have to follow all the open meetings. But this is a way of having a meeting other than doing the strategic planning in the main meeting. And so the chair will reach out to you and to make notice of when we'd like to do this. But tonight, to help us, some of you have already compiled a list around issues that are of interest to you, and that if you would compile that list and send it to Barbara, Miss Lardy, I'm sorry, I just lost your last name altogether right then. And as the last one was done, that I think is a good model for this one, is around advocacy, compliance, and education. Within your folders, again, are the 3 primary documents that govern what we do, that explain everything that we are to do. So those are 3 issues that rise clearly out of those documents, the side of what is it that we're going to advocate for. In the past, the commission has been real involved in, say, affordable housing. They produced a series of reports relative to affordable housing. There was a wage theft issue, particularly with immigrant workers, that the commission championed, that resulted in a passage of a Metro code that would make that illegal. I'm just trying to bring up incidences of what would be advocacy that we have done when we did the public hearings around reimagining public safety. We all realized that public safety is more than police and fire. So the compliance issues, Title VI is one, but then all the other compliance issues that are relative to discrimination upon any basis, if you read the documents, falls within our purview, whether it is to educate, whether it is to reconcile and conciliate, or whether it is to actually investigate the incidences. So those 3 areas for me, and then the education piece, the idea of just making folks aware of what certain things are. Sometimes we're like, a good one for me is when I hear people talk about black on black crime. That is a urban myth. There's no stats that bear that out. People do crime in proximity, and people tend to live. So how do you educate people? So that's the other issue that I think that the commission stands in a place to contribute to the city. So how you process that, what's of interest to you, we're going to try to take that and count those up, tab those up, because there are more than enough issues that fall within the purview of the commission. But with our size, if we commit to what comes out of us, maybe over a period of time, we can actually see that we've made some difference in a particular area. So the first part of this would be that you would take time in your own time to put together a list of concerns that are most dear to you, and that you would also prioritize those in 1, 2, 3. And we will look at those and send those out to everyone. And then, as I said at the onset, Chair Abafazo has agreed to setting up 3 executive board meetings so that we can come together and talk more specific about what that's going to look like, what our bandwidth is, what we're able to do. Often folks think that when you say Metro Human Relations Commission, with this big, huge organization with 422 people, and that's not so. We have 4 people right now, and we're in the process of hiring 2 more. And that limits what we can do and do in a way that would speak well of this organization. Anybody have any questions for me as it relates to that? Yes, Ms. Safrell.
Thank you.
Did I say it right this time?
Safety. Thank you.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
Is the strategic plan for a year or multi-year?
Multi-year.
Multi-year, is it
Yes.
3 or?
Yes, well, you get to outline that. you get to outline that, and then with some of our knowledge of what we have, we can help refine it. And when I took the job, one of the things that was critical to me is that there be commissioner participation, that our bandwidth, our reach, our influence is multiplied by commissioners participating, not only in the meetings, but participating of calling your congressman, calling the mayor if need to, appearing at council meetings, leading groups in your particular area. So there's multiple ways in which a commissioner can get involved in the work of the commission in a way that I think would be positive. So by knowing what individuals are really interested in, then I think we could be a bit more impactful. I don't know, Kozar may be all keyed up on the soaring of Tennessee walking horses, and he might be the only one of that. So that's kind of the rationale. Yes.
Outside of the walking horse dilemma, wondering sort of just like, how can we be most helpful other than sending the list that we're interested in of the issues that we think should be on this to Barbara? We are committing as a commission to, being as involved as we can outside of just meetings and for the executive board outside of just the executive board meetings. Is there anything else that we can do to be helpful in this process? Or if I hit the nail on the head, feel free to say it publicly on comment and on camera. I'd be okay with that too.
No, I think you did, and I'll use you as an example.
Sure.
This commission needs to be representative of Nashville, but it also, in our advocacy, education, and compliance, we need to encompass all of Nashville. And so what you bring to the table that we've used multiple times is your connection to the immigrant community through the organization in which you work and other relationships. So that becomes hugely important because you're the person who introduces us. Mm-hmm. You're the person who brings us into the room, who gives us a certain level of automatic legitimacy based upon the way people view you. So that's just one example.
That's helpful. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes.
And I don't know if historically the commission has engaged or your team has engaged a facilitator or an outside person to lead the strategic plan, or if the plan is to do that in-house.
Well, the plan was to do that in-house. Primarily, in a past life of mine, I've done this for the YMCA of Middle Tennessee, the Jewish Federation, and some other organizations. And then two, the cost of bringing someone in-house to actually facilitate that while we're also trying to squeeze out of our budget enough to hire a full-time administrative person. And the thrust of the strategic vision, as I've said before, is to take what our collective strengths are and try to turn those into policies and initiatives.
Is there a timeline for when you hope to have it finished?
Yes, I would hope that after this meeting, a couple weeks, that you would have emailed your responses. That would give the chair time to schedule the meetings. Since she can't contact you all individually, it will come from the office of setting up the executive committee meetings, which open up for everyone to come and take part. And we have to public notice those. And hopefully we'll send out a doodle poll that would make it fit more people's time, whether it's during the day or the midday, afternoon, or whatever, or if there's a particular day of the week that would work. And if we could find one day for those 3 meetings. So if it's a Tuesday at 3, we do that every other week for those 3 weeks so we can try to compile something. And it is a living document. It's something that's always working. I think that as stuff come up in our city, the commission has to be proactive enough to know when we need to say or do something about a pressing situation that's there, but more so for short and long-term planning of what we want to give our resources to.
Any other questions? Okay. I will say this is obviously not the last time to ask questions, so I think if people do have questions, feel free to email Barbara, email Davey, and, I'm sure as we're driving home, we're gonna think, God dang, I should have said whatever. So if that moment comes to you, it has not, the window for questions have not closed, feel free to continue engaging, and I would say the staff would encourage that. Go ahead.
Yes, most definitely. And I've started meeting with some of you already. I will plan on contacting all of you within the week to try to set up a time to get together to have coffee, lunch, or whatever, so that we can begin a personal relationship or at least a personal understanding of each other. I can get a feel for you, you can get a feel for me. And I really would like to do it in person. I mean, I've done enough of it. If you just feel insistent upon doing a Zoom or a WebEx or something, I'll do that. But I would rather, and I'll come to you. I'll make it easy for you. I'll come to you, and I'll even buy the coffee. And we can do it in the morning. I will make it to fit your schedule, but I really definitely want to meet with each and every one of you.
Awesome. Well, everybody get your Starbucks order ready for when Davey swings by. That's right. Or the Horn Coffee. That's right. Yeah, great points. All right, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move to old business. So, we're moving to the procurement board appointment. We just, if folks remember from last time, we did have, we kind of mentioned our candidate, Larry Turnley, it's been, I think, I don't know, 8-9 months now that we've been trying to get this done. We know folks had questions for Larry, so Larry's actually here, and we wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for those who had questions to ask him. Larry, if you want to just grab a seat by one of these mics here, that would be awesome.
Chair?
Yes.
Could I just give a little bit of a backdrop on this?
That would be great. Yes, please. Thank you.
This position is a direct success of the Metro Human Relations Commission. This was a multi-year process of advocacy and education that resulted in the council approving to add a seat that the Metro Human Relations Commission would fill on the procurement board. If you're familiar with the procurement board, it outlines and governs the way in which Metro purchases goods and services. Is that a pretty legit definition? Or can you be more?
So the Procurement Standards Board is really responsible for developing the rules and regulations around procurement. So it's not a board that votes on individual contracts. It creates the regulatory structure for procurement of contracts for Metro.
And if you've been around Nashville a while, you know that that's always been a discussion that comes up from time to time. And when a project is ongoing, it is the procurement board that has already set up how the purchasing, the letting, and all of that will be done. So when something is happening, that horse has already left the barn. And so I'd like to, again, just say that this is one of the products of the collective pressure of the commission on the system to get a seat at the table. So, and I think that's just important context for this.
Great. Well, Larry, you heard us share a bunch of few words and bang a gavel a bunch of times, so we thought we'd let you jump in on some of this process as well. But just was wondering if you would, I know this is like the third time we've asked you to do this, and I appreciate you coming back in, but if you wouldn't mind just sharing a few words as to why it's important for you to be on the procurement board and yeah, what makes it important to you. And if you want to turn on your mic, you'll see the dude who's talking, just hit that button. And, yep, there you go.
All right, first, my name is Larry Turnley. I'm a native of Nashville. I was the former reentry coordinator for Gideon's Army. Now I'm a small business owner, and also I'm an author. I worked on Tom Steyer's 2020 presidential campaign as his regional organizer director. I graduated from Stand Up Nashville's Boards and Commission Leadership Institute, and I've also worked with the Equity Alliance and various other organizations here in Nashville. I was one of the first people that started assisting people during the 2020 tornado here in Nashville, which Gideon's Army eventually did the disaster relief for the city as it relates to North Nashville. And I feel that I am the reason why I would like to be on the procurement board, because the community that I represent, which are returning citizens. I did 20 years in federal prison. I was released in 2016 when they changed the crack law and also other drug laws. I was initially sentenced to life in prison here in Nashville, and my sentence got overturned. And when I came home in 2016, I started a annual Thanksgiving Day dinner in J.C. Napier. This year will be my 7th year running that. I started the annual Christmas coat drive at Napier School. This will be my 7th year doing that. So I'm very instrumental in the communities, and the reason why I feel it's important for me to be on the procurement board, because as I say, returning citizens who I advocate for, the community where I live is in the 3728 zip code, which does have the highest incarceration rate, or it was recorded as having the highest incarceration rate. So being on this board, I know in order to maintain a livable wage or to live here in Nashville, if you're a convicted felon, the only way you're gonna be able to do that is starting your own business. And by me being on the procurement board, I feel that people will receive some type of fairness if you have had a brush with the law, or if you are a convicted felon, and you will have someone there that will advocate for you. So, any questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Larry, thanks for being here, and your story sounds tremendous, man. So I credit you for everything that you've done, how you've come back to the community and started a business, and how you've been so instrumental with volunteering, especially as you mentioned with the tornado. Have you, my question is, have you ever applied for a Metro contract? And if you have, could you tell us a little bit about your experience and maybe some difficulties that you had working through that process, and maybe some things that you could see that could change about the process?
Yes, I've, my business, which I have a junk removal business, and I've been on the procurement and register my business, and I had like issues understanding the bidding part, you know, and because, you know, I haven't had anyone to just show me. It's just me hearing, do this, do this, do this, and I'm just throwing things against the wall, see will it stick. And you know, up to this point, I've had bids, but don't really know how to bid on them. So, yes, that's been kind of my issue, and I feel that being on this board, it will allow me to be more hands-on and have a better understanding, so I can tell people about, you know, things to look for, or just how to navigate that whole process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. One of the things that you were sharing about having a business for 6 years, and how long you've actually had your...
My business?
Yeah.
No, I had my business for 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Yes, I've done an annual Thanksgiving Day dinner and a Christmas coat drive.
Okay.
For 6 years.
For 6 years, okay. So actual business owner for 1 year?
Yes, for 1
Okay.
year.
And in the process of bidding on contracts with Metro, how many times have you done that?
Twice. Well, I wouldn't say I bid it. It was just I've received the email, and they said that you can make place to bid, and it was just all of the other language, because I was 20 years removed from society. So being technologically savvy is that's kind of like a hang up for me.
Right.
Understanding the technology, but you know, I'm learning.
Okay.
Yes.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh,
No, go ahead. I'll circle back.
oh, it was a go ahead for you, for your question. Yeah, if you wanted to ask that. Okay, sorry.
I would just like to kind of stress the importance of having that experience as a, bringing that formerly incarcerated experience to this position and this board, just because I think we all know the limitations and the amount of doors that are shut when folks are incarcerated. And we, talk about second chances and rehabilitation, but then certain folks can't access, certain jobs, employment, contracts, et cetera. And so I think it's important that, we have you on that board. Just wanted to kind of just stress that, just because I do have formerly incarcerated family members and people that I know. And so just wanted to stress the importance of providing that perspective in those spaces specifically when it comes to procurement and business.
Sir, gonna go Jorge and then I'll go here. Go ahead.
Larry, the reason why well, first of all, I want to say your story, every time I hear it, is so inspiring. So thank you for being here with us today. The reason why we fought for this seat in this board was to fight for the little guy, because industrialists, capitalists, they already have their representation. And I'm so glad that you want to represent small business owners. Another sector of society that is usually left out from these decisions are the workers of large contractors and primarily construction projects from Metro. I don't know if people are aware, but roughly one construction worker dies every month here in Nashville. Nashville is the most dangerous city for construction workers in the South. And I'm willing to guess that if that's the case in the South, it's probably in the nation as well. And so how, if we vote for you, how are you going to watch out for the interests of these workers?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question, because I graduated the MC3 program with the labor union, just the union in general, and I signed on with the labor union. And I got a job with a company downtown that's doing construction work on the garage. And prior to me having to go report, I caught COVID. And so I was out for like 2 weeks. It was like during January. So when I finally got back, they put me on a jackhammer after experiencing COVID. And I messed my wrist up. And I was able to work like 3 days. And then that weekend, we was working 4 10-hour days. So my first day at work, they put me on a jackhammer, something I never even worked before in my life. And it was like 30 degrees temperature. And they gave me some little gloves that didn't even keep my hands warm, and just all that jacking messed my wrist up to where I couldn't even move it. But I say all this to say, after the 4 days, which I only worked 3, they fired me because they said that, because I told them, look, I can't work. My wrist messed up, I sweep. I do anything but get on the jackhammer because my wrist is hurt. And they was like, well, this job requires that you be on the jackhammer, so we think you need to go find somewhere else. So to answer your question, by me experiencing that, I know, things to ask companies who have to come to procurement, or, and just be able to advocate for workers, because, I feel like they done me wrong. But I didn't want to be that guy to be like, workers' compensation, I got hurt, this and that, so I just tried to fight on through. And, my reward was I got fired.
Thanks, Larry. I think there was a question here. Mr. Bugs?
Oh, it wasn't a question per se, sorry. I just listening to both his experiences in both the administrative side and in the field on the construction site, this sounds like there's room for regulation around either education or proper training for both putting in bids for jobs and for those who are winning those bids, that they're properly educating the people that they're hiring to complete these jobs.
I appreciate you sharing that.
I have a question. Larry, thank you for being here. Especially as they have said as many times you had to come, we appreciate the perseverance. You said you authored a book. What's the title of the book?
The title of my book is What's Your Excuse? How I Use My Prison Experience to Save $100,000. I saved $100,000 in 5 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Impressive. Your story is impressive. God bless you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions for Larry? Yes.
You can find it on Amazon. Yes, or you can purchase a signed autographed copy from me, because I have those. And also, I'd like to say I wrote a bill which just got sent to legal and is dealing with expungement of felonies when you are seeking housing, when you are seeking employment, and when you are seeking education. And also, it has attached to it something dealing with child support. So I've also done that. Yes.
Thanks, Larry. All right, feels like, just to be respectful of time, I know that people got their questions in, but just wanted to, so I guess the next move here is a motion and a second, and we make this vote. And so wanting to see if I can get a motion to appoint Larry Turnley as our procurement board. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll do motion, then discussion, yeah. So if it's motion, second discussion, is that right? Yeah, thank you. So I can get a motion first.
Motion.
There's a motion, can I get a second? There's a second. I will now open it up for discussion. So is there anyone, I'm guessing? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for coming back and wanting to do this. I think the process that we have had here has been not smooth. We've had comments regarding the interview process that was not an interview. We've had a meeting set up that we couldn't vote on, and I say we because I'm now on the commission board. We don't really know, when you say it, the last meeting, that you sent out a number of emails, or you sent this everywhere, I think was the comment that was made. And we only, as new commissioners, get to see one person. I don't know if that's in the best interest that we move forward with something that we only have one person who's passionate, who's very passionate about what he's getting ready to, that he wants to do, and the journey that he's on. But passion and us making the right decision may not always be in the same vein.
Thank you. Anyone else have any? Yes.
I was just gonna add, I think going back to your comment, I think from the last meeting, we were told that we've been looking for someone for over a year now, and that we've shared it, throughout social media, shared it within the communities. We had people also put in applications, right? But didn't respond back, or, so I think we did go through that, or I think the previous commission has gone through that process. And so I do think that, just because one person's here, we shouldn't discount, that person being here, and that I believe that we should move forward, just knowing that the process has already been laid out, and that there were people that were considered at one point who didn't follow up, and that there was outreach into the community.
I think the comment from last time we met was that we had 3 people out of a city of almost 1 million people, and that we did not, when I did my ask of the Greeks, of the sororities, the fraternities, the number of organizations would have people that are very engaged in diversity or equity, or whatever you want to call it, this does not come up on their radar that something was received or sent or whatever. So sometimes we're only as strong as the weakest link. So if the information and the things that we're been told has not always been exactly the way it is, then I would say that I believe that we are not doing our due diligence as new commissioners to be able to send this to others, to be able to say that we did do a search.
Thank you. Any other
How
comments?
long does it, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then we'll go here next. Go ahead.
First of all, Mr. Turner, I wanted to thank you for coming back over and over again. As the commission has asked you to come back and you've dutifully come back. The search has been ongoing, and it is due to administrative timelines and cycles and reappointments that have nothing to do with your capabilities or whatnot, that this has continued to drag on. So my apologies to that. As to these previous comments in terms of passion and looking for searches in the Greek system, this is not passion. This is about making businesses conform to the needs of the people. Our metro government should not conform to businesses. Mr. Turner's experiences as under incarceration, as a returning citizen, as an entrepreneur, and as a worker, to me, more than qualify him to do this. And I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you telling us your story. But I really believe that this is how the procurement process should work for the small entrepreneurs, the trying, and it's not passion. It's survival, and it's trying to make a living. And the city should work for all people. And that is my say on this.
And I totally agree with that. As a 30-year business owner who has lived here in the city, paid taxes like everyone else, I totally agree with your statements. As someone that has been engaged in the community, I agree with your statements. So yes, it is about passion. It is also about being a business owner and being able to bring that knowledge and understanding of what you're getting ready to and take on. Thank you for coming back and for being able to be part of this process. I too am a business owner, so I totally relate. And I have made bids to Metro and totally understand the frustration there. So just wanted to follow up with that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a comment here, and then I think the Executive Director Tucker wanted to say some more. So I'll go here.
So we would be, because this board fought for the seat, we would be able to get, I guess, updates or understanding from Larry or whoever we appoint. They would give us feedback on. And how long do they serve on that board?
Do you know the answer to that?
Not sure off the top of my head, but I can look it up.
We're gonna do a look up here as we get the answer, and Matthew will come back to us. I think, David, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to just say, as someone that was involved in this from the beginning, that the commission did do its due diligence, and I want to apologize to Larry if you feel, again, that you've come back again. I just want to apologize to you as a person with the information that we did get. You were the person. You exemplify what we were looking for in more than one way. What we were all looking for of putting a everyday person, and particularly a person who has been affected with incarceration, as being one who was part of the Band in the Box here in the city. We know how the deficits of that even comes down to bonding. Some folks can't even get bonds because you've been arrested before, which should have nothing to do with your financial capability. I just want to say that out loud to you, Larry, that I hope you're not offended in that deliberation that is going on here. Please don't take it personally, but that I would say, as being involved with this from the very beginning, We've been diligent. We've dotted all the i's. We crossed all the t's. And I really feel that the procurement board needs a Larry Turnley on it. If it's not Larry Turnley, we need to go get his clone and put him on the procurement standards board so that folk who live on the margins get to talk about issues as it relates to what's my shortcoming. How come I'm not at the table? So if it's not Larry, we need someone just like Larry.
I think Ariel, oh, do we have a number yet? 3 years. It is 3 years on the service thing. Ariel?
I feel like we can take some feedback from the commissioner about in the future, perhaps whenever we do these calls, of course, always strengthening and looking for new channels. Everyone knows that it's a difficult time to find people, but I also agree that, to me, we found our candidate who meets all the qualifications after a very strong process. And so I would be open and hope to move forward with a vote today, if that is possible.
Follow-up one, because Mr. Davies just said something, and I want to make sure that there's an understanding. You've stated now, which now changes the conversation, and that you were looking for someone who has his background incarcerated, is what you said. So that changes the dynamics in how you have been set on having him. And I understand that now that you've said that. And it was not, please know that because I am addressing what I'm seeing that does not quite look polished in the process of what you have presented to me here, that I should be able to question that without it making not only it seem as if I'm making him feel some kind of way, but please don't negate my words to be anything other than me asking questions and being open here with you guys about the process.
Well, excuse me, Commissioner, let me apologize, because that was not,
Okay.
that was
I totally accept.
none of the intent
Okay.
of why I said what I said.
Okay.
As I tried to set up the background of this position, what has been missing, and others would possibly agree, in the procurement processes in this city, they are shaped in such a way that some people are left out, even in the process. They may say you need $5 million insurance when you really only need $100,000 to do this particular job. They may say that you need to have completed X number size of job to qualify for this job, when maybe that's not necessarily so. So what we worked on for probably, I don't know, a couple years maybe, in this was looking at what was wrong with the procurement board, and that getting someone who, when you look at the current people who are on the procurement board, they're established business people all the way across the board. But we've had individuals and groups come before this commission to ask us why certain things happen and what we can do about it. This procurement seat is one little piece of a much larger systemic issue that makes it hard for people on the margins to get a step up in governmental process. Metro has gone a long way. And I would say over the last couple of years, Metro government has gone a long way in addressing a lot of issues that have been detriments to people doing business with the city. And it's something that is a step-by-step kind of thing that fortunately we've had a couple commissioners in the past that was more close to this issue that provided us with insight that really helps make sense. And so my comments about Larry was I didn't want him to feel a certain way, because I was just thinking about how would I feel if I was him, and I'm going back again and again. And because I know his work, I know him, and so please, if there was anything in my comments that was offensive, I did not mean that. I just didn't want him to feel uncomfortable.
I think there's a couple of things here. So I'm going to let two more people speak who have not spoken. I ask that your comments please be brief, just because it is almost 5:30 and we have one more agenda item. But before we continue, I will name that, I think that we as a commission need those questions in. We are not going to get better unless we start questioning each other and building ourselves up. So I want to name that ahead of time, and I think we're all committed to that. But I do want these two comments, if you all could please be brief. I'll go ahead with Charles first, and then we'll move over, and then we'll go ahead and, the motion and second has been happened, so we do need to make that vote. So go ahead, Charles.
Yes, I'll be quick. And I agree that I think the process and what we were told at the last meeting didn't necessarily match with what I saw in the May meeting that we were referred to. So I think the questions that have been asked kind of concern the process rather than the candidate and understanding more about that process. But my question, just a quick question. So this seat on the procurement board, will our commission now have authority to appoint that seat going forward in perpetuity, or I guess indefinitely?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. Thank you.
Mr. Chairperson, I was just going to move the question and end discussion and ask for a vote.
Thank you. Seems like a motion, second, and so I'll go ahead and let everybody get their mics ready. All right, we're good. All in favor for Larry Turnley being appointed to the procurement board? Aye. Any opposed? Do we need to count? Is that needed?
I didn't hear any opposed.
Okay. Well, I'll do it again, we've done it 3 times, Larry's come a bunch, so figure we can do one more double check here. As a second round here, all in favor for Larry Turnley being appointed to the procurement board? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion. Oh, any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Congratulations, Larry. Okay. Let us move to the Title VI complaint update.
Yes. We have 2 Title VI complaints that we're working on. If any commissioner is interested in the particulars of them, you are more than welcome to come by the office, view the complaints, but wherever possible, we're trying to protect the confidentiality of the complainant. One is with the Health Department and the other is with the Arts Commission. We are farther along with the Metro Health Department. We are in mediation and conciliation, and I, at this point, feel pretty good about it. I can take some general questions, but we just don't want to create any, we don't want to say anything out of school, nor that we want to bring any embarrassment on the complainant. But you're more than happy to come by the office and view the file.
I just want to ask so that we all hear the same thing. So what is our role, if anything, or will you bring a report to us about resolution? Is there anything that the commission members need to do in the meantime?
If it reaches the point of a public hearing, you would have to set a panel, and that panel would be tasked with hearing the complaint and coming to a decision of whether it's substantiated or not. Inside of that would also be everything else that would go along with that, that Matt in his office would help us along with. When we say subpoena power, the way that it is viewed, it would take the council to actually issue a subpoena on our behalf because of the change in the state law with the COB. Is that not correct?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. But at this point, we are in our job, as it says when you read through the documents, I think it says it at least 3 times, is conciliation. So we would move through conciliation to where it either reaches a head, but then after that, we would do a investigation. And upon the investigation, we would ask the chair to impanel a hearing committee that would take it from there.
Any other questions? Okay. I will, next on the agenda is.
Can I just say, I would really when I talk to each of you, if you would remind me, I would like to give you some more particulars around these two incidents that I think would be very informative to you, and also give you the nature, depth of the work that we're pulled over into. This is one of the issues that I believe that the commission will be granted outside counsel. Metro Legal will not be able to represent us because I think that they have a conflict, and I think they've agreed that there may be a conflict with them. So if any commissioner wants to know more about this, we'd be glad to share it with you.
Will we only be privy to those complaints if we come by the office or if we get called to a hearing for it?
Well, particularly with the Title VI complaints, you want to protect the complainant as much as possible. These meetings are open, and it doesn't give context if we start giving names. And if we say what the accusations are, it may not even look good toward the agency who's not able to defend themselves. But as commissioners, and this is our work, you're more than welcome to come and view the files as the file grows around what the individual incident is.
Okay. We are 5 minutes over, so I'm going to try and move this along a little bit. So next is public comment. So if our sound guys or Matthew have anything they would want to add, feels like no. Okay, great. Any announcements from folks? Go ahead, Kosar.
Yeah. So this Saturday, the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, TURC, is hosting its legal launch. Earlier this year, we received funding to expand our legal immigration services alongside the Tennessee Justice for Our Neighbors. And so now we're hoping to kind of, showcase our legal services. So it'll be this Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. At our headquarters in Antioch. So we'd love, commissioners, if you all would want to come, that'd be great. Or any community members that that need services. We're also providing a naturalization clinic as well.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Ben, and Ben,
I second.
quick to get out of here. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Thanks,
you.
everybody. Any?
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.